Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Guys Who Stare at Stats. Folks, it's Sunday afternoon. We just had another crazy week of college football. I do apologize for my voice, battling through allergies here and all that fun stuff that comes with it. But as always, Sunday afternoon means it's AP poll reaction time until we get to the college football playoffs all the way later in October and November. We'll be going through the AP poll every single Sunday afternoon. And as always, if you want to see more of this, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, all those good things. But we have to start with number one, Georgia. To the surprise of absolutely nobody, Georgia takes care of Ball State 45-3. Michigan, number two. Florida State moves up to number three. I think all of this still, you look at it, the surprise of absolutely nobody. But the big one, you can see it right there, 7 spots up. Texas, number 4. And, as an Oklahoma fan, you try not to, see Texas in a positive light. But after what they did Saturday night, going into Tuscaloosa, beating Alabama by double digits, they looked great. Texas's defense forcing turnovers, making big plays when they needed to. Quinn Ewers, he had a great game as well. Everybody that needed to step up for Texas did. And so it was a huge win. First time they'd beaten a top 3 opponent since they beat Oklahoma in 2008. And, I mean, it's absolutely deserved for Texas to be in the top 5 and to be number 4 where they are now. Texas has absolutely put themselves in the national championship contender category for now, at least. We'll see what happens, of course. We still have a long ways to go. But looking at some of the other things going on, USC is number 5. Ohio State is 6. They switch places. Anytime USC can blow out Stanford by 46, and Ohio State only beating an FCS team in Youngstown State by 28. Usually whoever gets the bigger blowout win gets the benefit of the doubt. That's what happens here. Penn State and Washington, they stay exactly where they are, nothing changing there. Notre Dame moves up to 9, and Alabama moves down to number 10. I think that's a fair spot for Alabama where they're at right now. Yes, you just got beat by double digits. Alabama's talent is still there. Obviously, Jalen Milroe has the athletic ability, still made a lot of mistakes. I think we've heard that the entire offseason now. If you watched Alabama last year when he played, it was the same exact thing. It does not surprise me that Alabama is number 10. Texas moves up 7. Alabama drops 7 as well, keeping everything balanced there. The next one, Tennessee. Tennessee moves down to 11, and if you watch their first half against Austin Peay, or at least checked scores like I'm sure most people did in that one, it stood out to you a little bit. Okay, 3-0. Okay, everything's starting to go that way. Okay, 3-3. Okay, it's 6-6. What is going on here in Knoxville? And then Tennessee eventually pulled away, got a 30-13 win, but it's weird to see Tennessee kind of play one of those type of games where they're going to win. They're not going to lose to Austin Peay. But it's the idea that you let them hang around long enough. We'll talk about another one of those teams here in a bit. But Utah and Oregon staying at 12-13. Both teams respectively just went on the road, went to a place that's not easy to win at, and found ways to get it done. Utah beating Baylor and Oregon beating Texas Tech. LSU still at 14. Kansas State still at 15. Oregon State still at 16. No movement there for any of those teams. They all handled business and did exactly what they were supposed to do. But as we scroll our way down from about 17 onward to 20, we get a little bit more shuffling. We get Ole Miss at 17. They had their big win over Tulane, and Tulane, credit to them. They fought hard, but there's only so much you can do playing with a backup quarterback. Ole Miss's defense stepped up when they absolutely had to. And the Rebels come away with a 37-20 win that you look at it here, you're probably thinking, okay, Ole Miss handled that game comfortably. They did not. Tulane gave them everything they could handle. But still, credit to Ole Miss for what they were able to do to turn it on defensively, shut Tulane down, and slowly pull away from that one. And Colorado at 18. Look at that, Colorado. Anytime you blow out Nebraska, that's going to be a big day for the Buffs, and they have continued to ride the hype. I wanted to see how they would handle this week. Coming off the big win over TCU, they handled it beautifully. They had a rough first quarter. Nebraska's defense gave them some problems. but Colorado eventually able to force some turnovers, benefit from some turnovers as well. And Colorado did what you had to do in that game. You had to weather the storm of Nebraska, so to speak. Wait for them to make their first mistake and pounce on it. And Colorado played about as well as you could in that game. And then in 19, we have Oklahoma. Oklahoma falling down just one spot, but a frustrating game against SMU. I think a lot of OU fans, the defense is where you want it to be. For once, the defense is not the problem. How many times have we said the defense is the problem for OU going all the way back to 2014? That doesn't seem like the case. The offense is becoming the problem for Oklahoma. I mean, if you could think of the most conservative game plan imaginable once Oklahoma got up 14-3, that is exactly what happened. Just trying to run the ball, fit the square peg into the circle hole, so to speak, and it was rough to watch as an OU fan. But OU pulls away, technically gets a cover with a 28-11 win, but still not a great performance for Oklahoma. North Carolina in the exact same boat. I don't know when teams are going to stop scheduling App State. It doesn't work for anybody. North Carolina falls down one spot to 20. Tar Heels getting a double overtime win over App State. I mean, that's what you expect from those type of games. It was a close one last year. When we did our predictions this week, we thought it would be another close one, and sure enough, it was. And then you look at Duke at 21, the other team that doesn't move, and oh boy, you look at that bottom four, things look a lot different now. Miami, after a huge win over Texas A&M, where the Canes, they didn't play well to start, but once they weathered that storm a little bit, Miami played well. And that's something we haven't seen a whole lot of yet in the Mario Cristobal era, a moment where Miami looks like the Miami of old, where they came out, they said, okay, we're going to take control of this game. We know what we can do. They played with confidence. They played their type of football, and they got a 48-33 win. How often do you see Texas A&M give up 48 points to anybody, let alone Miami? And then number 23, Washington State. Washington State, statement game again for them, playing Wisconsin. Cougs at home on the Palouse, not a fun place to play by any means. Wazoo's up 24-9. Here comes Wisconsin, slowly coming back into the game, makes it 24-22. And then Washington State puts it away. Their defense stepped up. Cam Ward stepped up, made a few more plays that he needed to. Washington State in at 23, well-deserved for the Cougars. UCLA at 24, they're the next team up, and no changes there. UCLA just kind of going about their business, not really changing anything up, just going through another week there, so we won't talk a whole lot about them. And then Iowa at 25, Iowa doing what they do best, winning a game despite sometimes not looking like they want to try. I mean, 20-13, it was Iowa State. It was a Cyhawk game. I don't know what you expected from that one other than a lot of defense, and that's exactly what Iowa's going to give you. I mean, they're one of those teams that every single week, it's a game of can Iowa get to 25? The answer is still no. They still cannot hit 25 points. They can hit 25 in the AP poll, though, and I want to talk about the one team that's not in here. If you look at that receiving votes, Clemson with 86 receiving votes, 20 points down from Iowa. And Clemson, folks, looked awful for a half against Charleston Southern. Charleston Southern at one point in that game had a 14-7 lead with 0 yards of offense. I don't even know how you do that. I don't know how that's even possible if you're Clemson. Now, yes, Tigers looked fine. They eventually blew Charleston Southern out in the second half, and it turned into a 66-17 type of game that you expect them to roll with. But something's going to have to change there. I don't know what in the world is going on there. Cade Klubnik made a few bad decisions. The wide receivers at times, they have the talent. They just don't know what they're doing half the time. I mean, I think Clemson fans already, if they see another wide receiver screen, they might pull their hair out. That's just how it's looked the first 2 weeks. Something has to change there, and I don't know what it's going to be. But you look at some of the other teams receiving votes, Arkansas with 33, TCU with 19, Kansas with 19 as well, and Tulane with 17, kind of to give you that first 5 out. But, folks, thank you as always for watching this video. Like I said earlier, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and all those great things. And until next time, Have a good one, everybody.